Hello comrades, my name is Fritz and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, episode 20, the final episode in season 2 of the quest for the final frontier. And we're here picking up where we left off at the end of the previous episode with Fro Van Kerman in the Eve rocket. And if you'll remember, obviously in the previous episode we sent this spacecraft all the way out to the purple planet Eve that you can see in the background. And as you know, for those of you who watched the previous video, that it is a one-way mission, because Eve's atmosphere is so thick that we won't be able to build a lander to climb back into orbit. And another piece of news is that Kerbal Space Program 0.25 has been released. We are playing in this version now, and there have been some unusual part changes. For example, the eagle-eyed of you will notice that the reaction wheel has been made into a size 0 part, which means that it no longer fits our rocket, which has left this slightly odd kind of gap. You have to remember though that the rocket does still work. I mean, Kerbal Space Program is simply lots of parts moving in very close frequency to each other. Their collision meshes don't actually allow them to touch. But anyway, enough technical jargon. I still have a hell of a lot of fuel left in the nuclear engine stage. The transfer state, whoa, awesome. And I thought that I could use that to go to Gilly. But it does seem that this is a little ambitious, judging by the vicarious angle that the little chunk of rock is lodged at. So unfortunately I've decided that probably won't be possible. Instead, we are going to land on the surface. So what I'm going to do is time warp around to... oh, yes, my aerobraking maneuver, if you remember, did fail miserably. Although we still did manage to get into a very safe orbit because I fired the engines at the last minute. And yeah, we can time warp and aim for this sort of bit of land here. And I'd quite like to land on this lake here somewhere, or somewhere around that lake. That would be pretty good. So what we're going to do, and 0.25 has actually come out with an advanced nav ball. So all of the markers that you see on the nav ball appear also on the maneuver node system. And when you actually do plot a maneuver, it actually points you in the direction that you want to go. So no more kind of spinning around trying to find your node. You can always just look at the arrow and you can move straight to it. I can actually see where our predicted landing site is going to be. It's going to be quite a long burn, I think, to do this. There we are. We are no longer in orbit around Eve. I have done some orbital science. Okay, maybe not. I got contracts. Yes. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. I did a crew report and something else. Temperature scan, I think. But I don't want to use my materials bay just yet, because then it would render the module inoperable, which is not what we want, obviously. And I guess, actually, that would do, because it doesn't matter if we lose too much of our lateral velocity, because we are going pretty much vertically. And we can then start the descent. A planet rushing up now to meet us. Rather unusual 5 craters on the surface that's currently facing us. Apologies for the background noise, by the way. There does seem to be some building work going on where I live, which is slightly inconvenient. I thought they'd finished a long time ago, but it seems that the council are simply lazy idiots, and they can't really achieve anything. But anyway, let's point to retrograde and start dropping. We might get some nice aero braking effects here, re-entry effects. There's 100 kilometers, we're officially within the atmosphere now, and we can potentially get a good look at our landing site. I am going to fold in the solar panels because they will get very badly damaged during re-entry. Hopefully the entire spacecraft will survive the inferno that is re-entry, but in case it doesn't, well, we're screwed, basically. Now, I think that I am going to very soon drop the nuclear engine. And here comes re-entry. This is brilliant. And if you look at the way the air is flowing, you can get an idea of the general attitude of the way we are falling through the atmosphere. And we are tumbling pretty steeply as it happens. This might not end well. And yeah, background noise is getting rather loud, which, to say the least, is pretty embarrassing for me, but I guess I could just soldier on or post-commentate this. I don't know, touch wood, that was me touching wood, won't get any louder. And we are decelerating quite profusely, and judging by the attitude, wow, judging by the attitude at which we're falling, we are pulling out 15 Gs. Revan Cohen doesn't look too happy about that. But I guess there's nothing really we can do. And good, the background noise has stopped. Peace at last. And you can see that the atmosphere is incredibly thick. This is the second time I've attempted a re-entry on Eve. The first time I crashed a space probe on it, which was a bit silly, but you know. Yeah. I would have liked to take a surface sample on the wall. Wow, we are slowing down really fast. That's pretty funny. I think I'm going to, in that case, just drop the nuclear stage. Hasta la vista, you did well. Activating the LV-909. We will no longer need RCS. In fact, I don't think we'd even be able to use RCS. My frame rate has actually taken quite a significant battering, which is unusual, and I am decelerating very, very quickly. So I think I'm going to time warp. There goes the nuclear stage. If I'm right in saying the surface of Eve is actually pink, the cloud layer does, however, obscure what actually goes on the surface, and we are dropping very slowly. We've just that's 100 meters per second. We're dropping below 100 meters per second. I really don't even think we're going to have to use the parachutes. We might even just be able to fire the engines and just gently touch down. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I'll probably zoom out a bit, actually. Hey, that's a cool screenshot. 1000. Oh god, no. 62. Deploy the parachutes. Wow, that stopped us suddenly. Whoa. There goes the nuclear transfer stage. And I'm going to deploy the landing legs. And then let us drift gently down to the surface. The 0.24 update, the 0.23 update actually, saw the introduction of tweakables, and that applied to parachutes in particular, whereby you could tweak the maximum air pressure which they deployed at, which should probably have been a hint for me to reduce that pressure on the surface of Eve so that we'd have a slightly shorter descent. And we're coming down at 4.5 meters per second over the lights, which seem to make visibility even worse, as they do in Spintires. I'm not too sure why that's a common feature in computer games nowadays. 700 meters, 4.5 meters per second. There's our shadow, mottling up a little bit. Touchdown! Rovan Kerman has landed on the surface of Eve. And yes, pretty good, huh? I'm going to quick save here. And we can do before we do an EVA, can I do that? Yes. Mystery goo containment unit. You observe the goo. Transmit that data. Yes. And if I run out of electric charge, we're going to have to deploy the solar panel. And at the same time, we can always do that, transmit that data, because we're not going to come back, remember. And to demonstrate this, yeah, that's just not happening, as you can see. Brilliant. Let's get on EVA. And Rovan Kerman descends the ladder and becomes the first Kerbal on the surface of Eve. This alien purple environment seems to make him happy. So let's do an EVA report. Keep the data. Take a surface sample. And keep that data and plant a flag. Now, Froven will be here till the end of eternity, basically, until we can be bothered to rescue him, which we probably won't. But yes, in the name of science, I'm going to return to the Space Center and give you a brief rundown on the editions 4.25. So I'm just going to write out the flag. Frovan Kerman. Let's see. Touch down here. And is still here. That should be enough. And yes, this will stay here as a permanent memento to the exploits of Kerbal kind. And what I'll probably do is just transmit all the data that we have on board, because obviously we won't be able to recover it. But in the meantime, I will of course see you guys back at the Space Center. Hey guys, now that we are back at the Space Center in sandbox mode, this is my own personal save, and I thought I'd show you some of the new features. So, most obviously, if we head over to the space plane facility, there has been the introduction of new community-led mod integrated parts. See what I mean? This is part of a Spaceplane Plus mod, which adds new cockpits and other such things, including if I come over here, this is all KW rocketry, so we'll just scroll through all of this. Yes, here we are. New fuselage parts and things we have, most notably under aerodynamics. Here they are. So we have new types of wing connectors and flaps and things of that nature, and a new, more streamlined and aerodynamically efficient engine nacelle with its own intake. But I have made, well, this was a plane that was already in the hangar, the Steerwing D45. This is a developer made aeroplane, and I thought it was pretty cool, and so let's take this for a brief test flight, and I will show you some new features. Firstly, there is a cargo bay which isn't working. Oh yes, there it is. Opens, bottoms up that way. And a couple of new intakes back here, like this one. Not entirely sure what they are, but you know, I guess we'll find out. And a crew cabin. But let's go ahead and take to the skies. I don't think we've actually launched space planes in Kerbal Space Program, this Let's Play series so far, so I think this should be our first airborne excursion. And as I said, this will give me another opportunity to test out another feature, and it's literally just crashed on me. Here we are at the launch pad, Nielsie and Bob Kerman. Wait for everything to load in. SAS on. This is the IVA view for the new cockpit. I think it looks pretty nice. I don't know about you, but it looks very cool with the new raster prop monitor systems and things. But what we're going to do is press Z. It's our new key binding for accessing full throttle, full chat, and hit the spacebar. Let the engine spool up. Wait for it. Wait for it. 20 meters per second. 30 meters per second. Pitching back with the flaps. Make sure the engines don't hit the ground. Oh, it's hunkering down. And we just gotta wait for the nose wheel to come up. 80 meters per second, it's about to go. It's at full power, the engines are at full power. And there it is. Lift off. Close the landing gear. We are up, up, up and away. This is quite a heavy craft to fly. It's not the most agile machine in the world, but hey, we can deal with this. And just a brief flyover of the Space Center, I think, is in order. For those of you who noticed the swimming pool around the back side of the facility, that is hospitality and administration. That's a new building that's been added in this update. And basically, in career mode, you can control different, and I'm literally about to crash, control different aspects of your space program. You can do internships and stuff like that, basically. And it doesn't look like I'm in too good shape at the moment, but let's do a brief flyover, pitching back like so, making sure we don't spin out of control like we are doing now, which isn't really very helpful. And fight it, come on. Oh, we're gonna have to yaw this way a little bit. Oh well. Let's cut the engines. Hope we don't crash. That's a lot of what KSP involves, really, kind of just winging it in more literal senses than others, I might add. What I need to do is, yeah, roll. We're still going up, aren't we? Okay. And come down. Down. Nose goes down. There we go. And if I miss, this is going to be very embarrassing. I think some of you might have guessed what the secret feature is. But anyway, I'm still going to try and show it off to you. And it looks like I'm on the right track. Okay, maybe not in that case. Anyway, I guess that can wait for another day. Unless I simply pitch this way. Yes, flying space planes is more difficult than you can probably see from what I'm doing here. But if you look at the control inputs in the bottom left of my graphical user interface, you'll see what I'm on about. But it looks like I will be able to show you this new feature. There's the engine. And if I don't miss, which I might do, this will be amazing. And I think I'm going to miss, aren't I? Oh no. Yeah, okay, well, change of plan. And oh dear, this isn't going well. Oh dear. Boom! New explosion graphics, guys. That looks good, didn't it? Wow, it's gone for miles. Anyway, that wasn't the thing that I wanted to show you, funnily enough. Hang on, if I just revert to launch, I will do that again. Yeah, that happens between loading screens, which is very strange. And there it goes. I think what I'm going to do is head for the spaceplane hangar. We can wreak some ultimate destruction. Power. And wait for the nose to lift up. There we go. Keep it on the straight and narrow. There's a bit of a ramp coming up. This should be interesting. Yeah. And make the jump. Out of the wheel. And boom! Look at that. Fatality. Wow, the tower's just come down. Yes, a new addition is destructible buildings, which means that you should probably be more careful when launching big rockets in your career modes. And wow, that just got annihilated, and it's still on fire. Just let you take that in for a moment. Wow, that's some serious destruction going on there, and it's still burning. Guess that's rather a lot of jet fuel. We're looking through the window. That's pretty hilarious. And I think that is a good note upon which to end Season 2 of Kerbal Space Program. I might not update to the next update, because I'd like to finish off this career, and then I'll go into a new series. Well, we've finished off Quest for the Final Frontier, basically. And I've got an idea for a new series in sandbox mode called Sandbox Shenanigans, and that should be interesting. But yes, I will probably show you the administration block next time, so that's in January sometime. But you've been a wonderful audience, you can get my words out in the right order for the past season and previous season, obviously. Thank you for all your support, and I guess it's time for me to sign out. My name is Fritz, and I will of course see you next time on Kerbal Space Program.